This is hostile neural networks. This used to be called Deep Mob Learning, and I do have a link in the description if you're playing on older versions where the mod is called Deep Mob Learning. It's a bit different in the newer versions, hostile neural networks. So, this is basically a simulation chamber where we can simulate mob farms very easily. The first thing you're going to want to make is a deep learner. This is going to house your data models. So what you need is your deep learner, which we're going to run around with. It's like a PDA or a Pokedex, if you will. And then you're going to need some model frameworks. So let's say I've got those. I can right-click on a mob. Or is it shift-right-click? Right-click on a mob. So I've right-clicked on the slime. Okay, and now this slime data model is what I've got. So I've clicked my model framework on an entity, and I now have a slime version. I right-click my deep learner, I click the slime data model, and I put it into one of these 4 slots. This means that you can train the data model. Imagine you're training AI. I can train it on 4 different ones at once. You can see here, it tells you about the slime, model tier, faulty, accuracy, 0%. I'm going to explain that in a little bit. Upgrades to basic in 6 kills. So there's different tiers, basically. We must get to basic in order to use it. So we kill the mob, and as you can see, it says data collected 1 out of 6. So I then kill 6 more slimes. And I kill all the slimes. I've probably killed more than 6 now. And we go in here, and it says tier basic. The simulation cost is 128 forge energy per tick, and it gets 4 data per kill. Data collected, 32 out of 48. It upgrades to advanced in 4 kills. So it goes basic, advanced, etc. So the model accuracy is 16%. So what does that mean? And you can also see on the top left of the screen how many kills you have remaining. Well, you then build a simulation chamber. The mod itself does not provide power generation, so you will need to provide it from another mod. I'm using Mechanism and just pumping it up to a universal cable. Check out my channel. I've got loads and loads of tech mods and ways to make power, and I've got tutorials for everything, basically. Name a mod in Minecraft. I've probably got a tutorial for it at this point. So you make a simulation chamber. I right-click the simulation chamber. Let's pretend it's empty. And then what I do is, I go into my deep learner. I take out my slime data model, and I right-click the simulation chamber, I click the slime data model, and it goes in this top left slot up here. Cannot begin simulation. Missing input prediction matrix. That is this here. It's made simply of clay, iron, glass, and gold, and you get 16 of them. This is what you use to run the simulations, and you put it in the I slot in the top left here, or top right, but left of this bit. You can then see, when I put it in, it's got power, and a percentage is running. It's running a simulation. Now remember that it's a basic with a model accuracy of 0.16, and you can see here it says sequence prediction failed. Processing results, I got a generalized overworld prediction, and then it runs again. And it's just going to keep running, and running, and running, and running. You can see here it says data collected 34 out of 48, data per kill 4. So every kill is going to increase the data by 4. Once it gets to 48, it would then go to advanced. Now you can see here that it's only gone up from 34 to 35. In the simulation chamber, it will only go up by 1. If you kill it yourself, you'll get 4. So you could just leave it in here and eventually it will just go up to advanced. And you can see here the model accuracy is slowly going up. Now what's this we've received? A slime prediction. So that time it was successful. So I'm first going to talk about the overworld prediction. This stuff can be crafted into mob drops from overworld mobs. So for example, using it with a slime and a string will get you 4 cobwebs. Using it with a stick will get you 2 potatoes, etc., etc., etc. You can use it with 4 of them with a piece of netherrack to get generalized never prediction. You can imagine pretty obviously that if you're killing never mobs, like a blaze data model, you will be able to get never predictions, and never predictions will make things like ghast tears, blaze rods, and things like that. Use 4 never wands of an end stone to make an ender prediction. Maybe you're killing the ender dragon. Yes, there is a data model for that. Or maybe you're killing maybe a phantom. Would they be? No, they give generalized overworld. That makes sense. Because they're kind of an endish mob, I wasn't sure. But an enderman would give ender predictions, which you can make ender pearls, chorus fruit, and end stone with, for example. So that's what you can use the predictions for, what can we use the actual specified slime predictions for, which is when we get a successful one? Well, you could take it out with any other mod and put it into a loot fabricator. What I could do is put the slime prediction into the loot fabricator, and I can choose something. The cobweb is from a previous spider one. Because slimes give you slime blocks and slime balls, that's what I could choose. One slime prediction will make me 32 slime balls. So I pump in a slime prediction, I get 32 slime balls. What I would do is use something like Mechanism with an item pipe to pump out of the simulation chamber and into your loot fabricator, putting the slime predictions into here to make slime balls. If you wanted to get slime balls and slime blocks, you'd have one loot fabricator set up for slime balls and one set up for slime blocks. If you want to copy the settings, you can make a fabrication directive, and as it says here, right-click to copy, shift right-click to apply. So I can right-click that and shift right-click that, and then go in here, and then when I take out my slime prediction and put it in here, it's already set to slime balls, and that was using the fabrication directive. That's pretty much all there is to hostile neural networks. As you can see here, there's loads of different mobs you can do, and it does work with a lot of modded mobs. So Hoglins will give you leather and raw pork chop. Ghasts will give you gunpowder or ghast tears. You can use snowmen to give you snowballs. Ender dragons, you can actually do dragon eggs and dragon breaths. Very overpowered, but you would obviously have to kill at least 6 ender dragons. The warden, you can get skulk catalysts and echo shards. You know, whatever you would get generally. Oh, and there's fish as well. You can even do polar bears and cod and stuff like that. All the mobs you can think of, including modded ones sometimes as well. So you simulate it in the chamber. As you can see here, it's now gone to advanced with a model accuracy of 0.22, so 22%. And it eventually becomes self-aware, which I think is 100% accuracy. So every time it runs, you would get a prediction. And that is it. That is the complete guide to... Oh, one last thing. Redstone, you can say redstone off when powered, redstone on when powered, etc. You can say if it wants to run or not with redstone. I did forget that. Now, it is the complete guide to hostile neural networks.